not even trying to do gymnastics. Like, they're just simply walking around.
For that.
What's Taco? People kept spamming and saying Trump always chickens out. Trump, TACO, right? Always chickens out. And like, now he didn't. Yeah, none of those people are complaining now.
Good for the world. Yeah. If they choose another route, then there'll be consequences for that.
Yeah, and again, also, like, at this point, I mean, if I was them, fuck. I mean, you already got your nuclear sites bombed. You've gotten all of your air stuff destroyed. You've gotten your entire leadership killed multiple times over. At what point is enough enough? Because it's not like, I mean, at this point, it's like they can basically guarantee that if we don't play ball, we're literally going to die.
They control more sectors than us. Move to counterattack.
Doesn't MSM, Trump regime hate MSM? It seems so useful to them to advocate when they want to address the nation. Well, yeah, Trump has always dealt with the mainstream media, even though he's been adversarial with them. Yeah, that's true, of course.
Up on a phrase you just word, weaponization ambitions. Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I think that question being asked in the media, that's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build
point
a weapon.
in U.S. intelligence assessment.
Tracking helicopter, long range.
No, it's not. Are these people lying and fucking you around? Okay, they're okay. So if you find out they're lying and fucking you around, and they're fucking you around and lying to you in the nature of something that's building nuclear weapons, what is the conclusion to that? Well, it's because they're probably trying to build nuclear weapons.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had not
I know that better than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bear...
Fucking exactly. Like, we need an order to be sure that all of the different actions they're taking... Yes, exactly.
Why would you bury? It doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium?
Sector Bravo is in our hands.
Oh, God, bro. I've been waiting on this. Ooh, I've been waiting on this for a while.
Outcome looks promising.
Oh, my God.
We control the majority of sectors.
I'm marking some
Holy shit. Thank God. Finally.
You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons.
Oh, wow, what a surprise. Wow, what are the odds? Bro's not playing? Yeah.
Can just quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. They have. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No.
enemy here, long range.
You think you're gonna go to the moon? Bro, it's like, and you see that, like, whenever this shit's laid out in front of you, how fucking stupid it sounds.
They're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but
so
that's a question. That's a question. That's a question of intent, and you know, in the
intent. Oh my God! Where do these? Jesus, he's demolishing her. What the fuck? Yes. Thank God.
Assessment that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use
this
leverage. I'm talking about the public March assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know something more from March.
That's also an inaccurate representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Forget about intelligence.
Jesus Christ, bro. Oh my God, I love this. This is amazing.
What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program.
So why? Yeah, exactly. Oh, so she just immediately agrees on this. You immediately agree on this, but you want to pretend like the. Oh my God!
90 meters away from my position.
So why would you enrich uranium at 60%?
Right.
If you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon.
Right.
Why are you developing ICBM? Why do you have 8,000 short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop? Why do you do all these
guys?
Things? They have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the delivery mechanisms, they have the enrichment capability, they have the highly enriched uranium that is stored.
Yes.
That's all we need to see.
Right. Well, and
That's it. Yeah, it's fucking obvious. Bro, the intelligence said they couldn't find evidence of nukes. That's not the same as finding evidence of no nukes. What the fuck do these people not understand? Well, it's that they're building the uranium. That's it. Well, why does anyone have nuclear weapons then? Because they work. Duh.
Northeast.
In the hands of a regime that's already involved in terrorism and proxies and all kinds of things around. They are the source of all.
Yes, and no one's disputing. No one's disputing that. I'm not doing that here.
No one's disputing that Iran is causing all the problems over there. No one's disputing that Iran is funding terrorist organizations. No one's disputing that they're enriching uranium to 60%. But somehow, we're supposed to pretend like they weren't trying to build a bomb. Right.
And they were censured at the IAEA for that enrichment and for violating their non-proliferation agreement. I was simply asking if we had intelligence.
And remember, oh, but now they're going to leave the non-proliferation agreement, guys. Oh no! Well, wait. If we bomb them, they're going to leave the agreement they weren't following. Oh God, guys! Imagine what happens then. I can't believe people react to videos and they just let it play while they're gone. Like, why the fuck would anybody, like, isn't that like that's so embarrassing, right? That, like, people just want to watch that, they don't even care about you, like, it's crazy.
Okay. That there was an order to weaponize, because you said weaponization ambitions.
Well, we have intelligence that they have everything they need to build a nuclear weapon, and that's more than enough.
Yep.
Okay. I want to ask you on the policy front. There are personnel throughout the Middle East from the United States, in Bahrain, in Kuwait, and other bases. If those countries are attacked by Iran because of their association with the United States, will the United States defend them?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's exactly why they're there. That's a great point, actually. You know why we have bases in Bahrain and Qatar and UAE and all these places? All those bases are there because those countries are afraid that Iran will attack them. If Iran was not a threat to the region, if the Iranian regime, because I'm talking about the Iranian people, the regime was not a threat to the region, we wouldn't have to have any of these bases. Those bases are there because those countries are petrified.
He's totally fucking cooking here. This is brutal. Jesus. That the Iranian Shia clerics that run that country will attack their country.
Will the United States defend them if they are?
As you know, they've got a very difficult history.
What is this? It's not a nuke because it's disassembled logic she's using? It's just stupid.
Why we're there. That's why we're there.
So
but
yes,
they'll
we
attack
will
us,
defend
is
them.
what they're threatening to do. So we'll defend our people, obviously. We'll defend our people. Well, they'll attack our bases. And those are our bases. And we're going to defend our personnel. We're prepared to do that. But we'll do more than just defend. We'll impose costs on Iran if they attack American personnel, whether they do it directly or whether they do it through some of these proxies that they try to hide behind. And that includes the Houthis. Yeah. So another proxy of theirs. So, but let's hope they don't choose that route. Let's all hope that they actually decide, okay, let's go negotiate, because we want a diplomatic and peaceful solution. We have achieved our objectives. We're ready to negotiate this in a peaceful, diplomatic way. We've been prepared to do that for days. They are the ones that played games, as they have done for 40
years. This is the woman who said free speech is one of the reasons why Nazis got into power in World War II. Yeah, you have to keep in mind that these people are they exist to actively subvert everything. I think these people actively exist to subvert American goals. They actively dislike America, and they work against the best interest of the country and the country's people on a regular basis. These people are not your allies. These people are not on your side. They are actively working against you.
Years, as they have done to multiple presidents. They've tried to play games with President Trump, and they see what happens. This is not a game-playing president. When he says he's going to do something, he will do it.
Northwest.
I hear you saying here you want to de-escalate when you are talking
Yeah.
about diplomacy.
That's
you
right.
are looking for Iran to pick up that offer that was put on the table you mentioned by Steve Witkoff. Can you just clarify, does that mean the U.S. would still allow for Iran to have a civilian nuclear program if it does not enrich on its own soil?
But that's never been an issue. There's countries all over the world that have a civil
But
nuclear
that's still
program. No
off
one
the
here is
table.
saying that Iran
Too
can't.
far to judge.
Sure, that's always been there. Any country in the world has a right to have a civil nuclear program. What they don't have a right to do is to enrich it at 60%, hide it
So
under a
they're
map.
still even willing to let them have a civil nuclear
Signing vehicle
program?
out.
And they couldn't come to a deal
West.
after that? Well, that seems very interesting.
Mountain
I
and
wonder
develop
why.
long-range and short-range and mid-range missiles and sponsor terrorist
Very
proxies all
yeah,
over
it's
the
very
world. They don't have a
generous.
right to do that. And that's what they've been doing. And no one's dealt with it. And it's continued to linger. And they've played games with multiple presidents and multiple countries around the world, and they've gotten away with it for 40-something years. This is very simple. The president wants to resolve this diplomatically and peacefully. He gave them a chance to do that. They delayed. They had all these kind of delay tactics. They wouldn't even meet with us directly. They had to go through third countries. This is very simple. Let's meet directly. Let's work on agreements that are good
You
for
see,
Iran.
they were playing games, bro. They were playing games the entire time.
Good for the Iranian people in particular,
Yep.
good for the safety and security of the world and the United States. That's always been our preference. That continues to be our preference. But they're the ones that were playing games with us. And these are the consequences. We had to achieve those objectives. We had 3 objectives yesterday: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan.
Iran just said they're going to decide the timing, nature, and scale of its response against the U.S. message. For sure, guys. Yeah.
Enemy. Northwest.
We conducted a brilliant military operation under the command of President Trump, and obviously great credit to Secretary Hegseth and General Kurilla and General Kane and all the airmen and phenomenal people in the U.S. military. No other military in the world could have done this.
No, it
We've
was
achieved
astounding.
those objectives. What happens next is up to the regime. Okay, the
Yeah.
regime wants peace. We're ready for peace.
Okay.
They want to do something else. They're incredibly vulnerable. They can't even protect their own airspace.
Well, clearly they could
Obviously.
not. But what
Yeah.
is the U.S. assessment of how much nuclear material at those sites was moved prior to the attack? There has been talk for days about bombing the port.
Reloading.
Well, look, we don't. No one will know for sure for days, but I doubt they moved it because you really can't move anything right now, and they can't move anything right now inside of Iran. I mean, the minute a truck starts driving,
Can't they read radiation signals from like satellites? I'm pretty sure they can, right?
Bravo 1 under assault.
Yes. Okay, so then they would know if it got moved.
Spotted a tango. Southwest.
Yeah, because they could see it, right? It's underground. Yeah, but they would have to take it out. No, the satellite photos are of the ground. So if the material was transported, then they would have been able to see it.
Cover me. I'm reloading.
somewhere the Israelis have seen it and they've targeted it and taken it out. So our assessment is we have to assume that that's a lot of 60% enriched uranium buried deep under the ground there in Esfahan.
Yeah.
And that really is the key. What they should do with that is they should bring it out of the ground and turn it over. Multiple countries around the world will take it and downblend it. That's what they should do with that. And what they should do is say, we're not going to have any enrichment capability in our country. Instead, what we're going to have is a civil nuclear program like dozens of countries around the world have, where we build reactors that create electricity and we import enriched material. And we've made very generous, I'm not going to get all the details of the offers, but there are other avenues here that would be acceptable to them. If that's what they wanted, if what they want is a civil, peaceful nuclear program, the route has always been there. The problem is that everything they're demanding has nothing to do with a peaceful program. They are all the things you would want if you want to retain the option of one day weaponizing the program.
Okay.
Which has been their clear intent. To me, that's indisputable. I followed this issue for 15 years, including the intelligence on it for 15 years. Okay, I have followed it. And the intelligence, these are assessments, and sometimes they've been wrong.
Bro, he's going hard. God damn. Jesus. Thank God. Thank God.
I've seen them revised multiple times. These guys want a nuclear weapon one day.
Okay,
They
to
do.
that point.
And it isn't going to happen. Not while Donald Trump is president.
Understood. You've said this is not about regime change, but you are describing a regime that you have said for decades, I mean, for upwards of 40 years, has chanted death to America, has done all the things you just described. Isn't a diplomatic deal with them a lifeline? Aren't you offering to negotiate with the same people you're saying did all these things? So therefore, are you actually
this is the
looking for
point.
regime change?
These people never understand pragmatism. It's like people are so locked in like the ideological box that they put themselves in that they can't even conceptualize the idea of working towards something, even when it's not the best option, but being pragmatic and working with what you have. She's baiting. Yeah, this is again. It's a Reddit argument.
That misses the point.
Yeah.
I don't like that they chant those things, but one thing is that they chant those things. Another thing is that they chant those things and they have a terror proxies are all.
Yeah, fucking exactly. Like, yeah, you can deal with some retard that doesn't like you. It's a lot harder to deal with a retard that doesn't like you who has a nuclear bomb.
All over the world.
Duh.
And they have long-range missiles that can reach the United States one day, and they have the potential to be one step away from a nuclear weapon. Yeah, well, one day could be tomorrow, could be a week from now, could be a month from now. You know, all it takes is the flip of a switch. By the way, they're not going to broadcast that to the world. By the time we figure out that they're doing it, you have all...
They're going to announce, guys, we finally made the nuclear bomb. It happened today.
All the pieces in place, okay? It's like
So
you have
are there still
a gun
targets
here
on
and the
there?
ammunition. It only takes 1 second.
Tank,
We have
marked,
other targets that we could hit, but we achieved our objective. The primary targets we were interested in are the ones that were struck tonight in devastating fashion. The ones that were struck, I guess, yeah, tonight over there, their time, in devastating fashion, and we've achieved that objective. There are no planned military operations right now against Iran, unless they mess around and they attack American or American.
It literally says fuck around and find out. Okay, well, there it is.
Interest, then they're going to have a problem. And I'm not going to broadcast
So
what
there
those
is more targets?
problems are. Then they're going to have a problem. And I'm not going to broadcast what those problems are. But suffice it to say, know this. The United States flew halfway around the world, right into the heart of Iran, over their most sensitive locations. These things got rocked. And then we left. And we were out of their airspace. We were over the ocean before they figured out what had happened. And there are plenty of other targets. We don't want to do that. That's not our preference. We want peace deals with them. And that's up to them to decide.
You said
Oh my god, man. Jesus. So what we do? Yes. You can see he's fired up over this. This is amazing.
Hostiles attacking Bravo 1.
Iran already has a nuclear plant in Bashir, and they're building more. USA didn't bomb them, so our question was retarded, as Iran already has civil nuclear use, and it's no problem. Yeah, and that's the plant that has a lot of the Russian scientists at. That's my understanding. At least the last time I checked. Rubio is incompetent.